What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another week of Premier League predictions. I'm here with Eric. Say what up, Eric.
What up?
And week 10 was an exciting week of football for us in the Premier League. Eric did pretty well at 7-3 on the week, and I was just right down the middle at 5-5. So Eric's made up two games there. The overall score comes out to be me at 57-42 and Eric at 56-43. So he's still one game behind, but he's making the comeback. And let's get right into our Week 11 predictions. What do you say? We got Fulham versus Man United.
Yep, so this is going to be a good game. So, last week, as we know, United took a 3-0 loss to City. Not that unexpected. You still had a couple of the players, like we've been talking about, a couple of the players who've been showing up and playing well and, making their presence known. But like we kind of predicted last week, United just didn't have enough pieces and weren't enough, of a coherent unit to beat City. Pretty give and go right there. On the flip side of that, you have Fulham, who took a 1-1 draw with Brighton. That's a good showing for Fulham. They went in, they played against a good Brighton squad, and they walked away with a draw. Honestly, a win would have been nice, but I'd take a draw in this situation. The way that Brighton have been playing this year, I think that both teams played really well, but I think for Fulham to walk away with a draw is good for them. So in this match, it's going to be tough to tell. United still needs to continue to play, at a higher level. They need to get more players in and playing well and, getting themselves grounded and continuing their push forward. Fulham needs to continue moving on with what they did last week against Brighton and accelerate it just a little bit, and hopefully that, either team could take a win this week. I think it's going to be really tough to say because overall throughout the season, both of these teams have kind of looked similar. They have their ups, they have their downs. I think I'm going to take Fulham this week.
He's taking Fulham over Man United. Wow. Yeah, I could see that because Man United isn't playing too well, but I still don't know if I could go with Fulham. I'm gonna stick with the Man United, although I would not be shocked if you get it correct.
I mean, it's a fair shot. I think if McTominay pulls up like he has the past few weeks for United, he can come in and be a real difference maker in this game, but I'm just not confident that him alone and a couple other players in United are going to be able to make enough of a difference. And I think that Fulham, who played well against Brighton, are just going to take the lead.
All right, well, I got Man United, so hopefully they don't let me down, even though they probably will. But moving on, we got Brentford versus West Ham. West Ham took a unexpected loss last week, in our eyes at least.
Well, I think in the eyes of the general public, I don't think anybody really expected Everton to come out there and beat West Ham. It was a 1-0 loss for West Ham, so it wasn't, atrocious, but still, if you look at the stats, West Ham dominated possession, they had the shots, they made everything happen, but, like we said, earlier in the season, the game comes down to who can put the ball in the back of the net, and it just happened to be Everton. They just put it back there. They didn't have as many shots. They didn't have the possession. They didn't make as many plays. But they got the one that went in the back of the net, and that's all that mattered. Basically you have West Ham, who's coming off of a rough loss against Everton. But they're still in it. They're still here to play. You have Brentford. Brentford took a 2-0 win over Chelsea. I was a little shocked by this. I was expecting Chelsea to kind of continue, playing at a higher level, and they just didn't. They kind of fell apart. Not entirely, but you come in against Brentford, Brentford, you should see a little bit of a closer game. You really shouldn't be letting Brentford come in and put 2 goals up. But between the two teams, Brentford and West Ham, you're looking at 2 good teams that have been playing well. They have potential. Both kind of early start teams and then dictating pace from there. So it'll be interesting to see how the game starts off, because it's really going to determine how fast-paced the game really, keeps playing, or if, one team just decides to slow down entirely. I think, though, in the end, it's going to come down to a really close game, but I think that West Ham is going to take the win this week.
Yeah, I'm going to have to second you on that. I don't know. I just don't see West Ham losing, but after Everton, it's kind of like, I don't know.
Yeah, it's in the back of your head.
Yeah. Moving on, we got Burnley and Crystal Palace.
Yeah, so Crystal Palace took a 1-2 loss to Spurs. Personally, I'm saying that's a good showing for Crystal Palace. I mean, you put up a goal against the top team in the Prem currently. You held them to 2 goals, which is more than you'd like, but it is what it is, and it's a strong Tottenham squad. So, Crystal Palace played well in that match last week. I think that they can hold their own and play against, the big clubs. They're playing Burnley, who's had a rough season. They lost last week 2-1 to Bournemouth. So they're coming off of another loss and, still getting their, stuff together. And I don't see them playing well enough to beat Crystal Palace, who has the potential to compete with teams like Tottenham. So I think the Crystal Palace is just going to take the win over Burnley this week. I'm not really looking for anything special out of either of these teams. I think that Crystal Palace should just have this.
Yeah, I was gonna pick Crystal Palace too, buddy.
Yeah, I mean, great minds.
I'm just gonna pick to counter so you can't get that game back. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, yeah, okay. I'm not gonna make up one game in the next, what is it, 27 weeks, give or take.
Yeah, I'm gonna pass. I'm gonna get ahead. You're right. I'm gonna
Mm-hmm.
leave you in the dust. All right, Everton versus Brighton.
Yeah, so this is going to be an interesting game. So Everton took the 1-0 win over West Ham, like we'd said, kind of an underdog win. Kind of shocked a lot of people, but honestly, it is what it is. On the flip side of that, you have Brentford, who took the 1-1 draw with Fulham. Honestly, I think both of us kind of thought that Brighton would win that game. So you kind of have this interesting dilemma of, well, Brighton in theory is the better squad here right now. Everton's been underperforming throughout most of the season, but they did come back last week against West Ham. So is there something there that you kind of got to watch out for and look into? You also have the idea of, well, Brighton's been playing well. They had one slip up against Fulham, and it wasn't a big one. It was just taking the draw, which is perfectly fine. So I think overall, both teams are going to kind of return to the form that they've been in throughout the season. Brighton's going to take the win. Everton's going to kind of fall back down a little bit. But I'm looking for both of these teams to play well.
You're going Brighton?
That is correct.
Dang it, I'm going Brighton. Well, you do have to look at, though, Everton's got 3 wins in their past 5, and Brighton's only got 1 win in their past 5. So,
I mean, if you look at past 5s, yes, Brighton's been on the downhill and Everton's been going up, and I think that Everton's been playing well. But I think that you have to look a little bit deeper than the last 5, and I think overall, if you look past that, I think that Everton just hasn't been playing at a high enough caliber that Brighton's been playing at. I mean, the past 5 do make a big difference, and it does bode well for Everton. But I just don't know if it's going to make that much of a difference.
yeah, I agree. Moving on, we got Man City versus Bournemouth. I'm just going to go out on a limb and say Man City's got this one. If they mess this one up, it's going to be another head scratcher for Man City. But they've seemed to regain their composure after that Wolves match, so they seem like they're kind of settling back down.
Yeah, I think City's back in form. They took a convincing win 3-0 over United in the Manchester Derby. That's perfectly fine. They did what they needed to do. They cleaned house and they went on. City's returned to form. They are back. They're playing Bournemouth. Bournemouth took a 2-1 win over Burnley. I think that Bournemouth can compete with a lot of middle of the table teams, even some of the upper middle clubs, and has on their best day a shot at the top clubs. I just don't know if it's going to be their top day. You have to look at it as City's back. That's a juggernaut. Bournemouth can compete with almost anybody on their best day, but it has to be their best day, and I just don't think it's going to be. So I'm going to take City.
Yeah, and it's going to be an important little stretch here for City coming up after Bournemouth. They have a group stage match, and then they play Chelsea and Liverpool back-to-back. So City's going to be looking to get in form for those big matches. But you went Bournemouth, right?
Yeah, 100%.
All right,
Yeah.
moving on, we got Sheffield United versus the Wolves.
Yes, this is going to be another good game to watch. So Wolves once again performed above and beyond. They took a 2-2 draw with Newcastle. It's a really good showing for them. I think
Yeah.
that Wolves have, really, in the past few weeks come in and said, "Hey, don't forget us. We're here, we're playing, we're competing." They're going against a Sheffield squad who's been, up and down and has had their moments. They just got absolutely battered last week by Arsenal 5-0. So kind of rough for Sheffield, but overall these teams have been playing okay. Sheffield's been playing okay, and Wolves have been playing exceptionally well recently. I don't see either of those patterns changing. I think that the way that Wolves have been playing, they've been playing top quality ball. They've been getting in there. They've been making, plays. They've been getting goals, and that's what you need. And I think that Wolves are going to continue that against Sheffield. And I don't think that Sheffield's going to be able to do a whole lot to stop it, especially if Wolves play at their, top form. So I think I'm just going to take Wolves this week.
Yeah, I'm also going to have to take Wolves. Sheffield United has yet to win a game this season, so that's pretty rough on their part. One draw, so 1 point to show for the whole season. And like you said, the Wolves are playing pretty well right now, so I'm going to have to also go with the Wolves. Moving on, we got Newcastle versus Arsenal. It seems like we're always talking about Newcastle in a big matchup. But what you got there?
Yeah, so like we just said, Newcastle took the 2-2 draw with Wolves, which is kind of an underperformance for Newcastle, but like we've been saying, Wolves have been playing exceptionally well recently, and it's kind of tough to take anything away from Wolves. But, Newcastle, we kind of figured would, maybe put a stop to that. They didn't. It is what it is. But they're playing Arsenal, who, like I said earlier, battered Sheffield 5-0 and have been playing really well recently. So between these two teams who have been playing, high quality football recently, have really good, possession and can play well and make, good plays and have the ability to, catch people out and make the difference in a game. It's going to be interesting to see. I think that you have two squads that really need to, continue to perform well. So it's going to be a tough one. I don't honestly know. I think that both teams have just as likely a shot to win this, which means that I could be leaning towards a draw, but I genuinely don't know. So I'm just gonna guess Arsenal.
What a butthole. I was going to go Arsenal.
Okay.
I really
Why don't you
was.
switch it up?
The whole time I was going to go Arsenal just because of Newcastle. I feel like they're always about to be on that next level, and Arsenal's up there, and I just think they're going to shut them down again. I think Arsenal's just going to be too much for Newcastle to handle.
Well, I don't have a coin to flip, so I just had to guess.
And with last week, Newcastle really not playing to the standard they need to beat Arsenal. Just kind of going based off that. But moving on, we got Nottingham Forest versus Aston Villa.
Yeah, so this one is going to be interesting. So Villa, who's been playing well, had had a down week a couple of weeks ago. They took a 3-1 win over Luton. Luton's been playing well, but they went up against a Villa squad that was really strong, and Villa has just continued to play at their caliber and have been able to play at a top 5 level, and I think that it's been really good to see from them. I think that Villa, from the beginning has been playing strong and physical and getting in there and, having their possession. They take their chances and they make them work. They're going against Nottingham. Nottingham took a 3-0 loss to Liverpool last week. Nottingham have been an up and down squad. They have the ability to take an early lead, catch teams off guard, make plays of their own, and really, catch somebody off balance and hit them when they're down. But I don't know if they're going to be able to do it against Villa. Villa's just been playing really well, and it's tough to see teams beating them right now, unless they are one of those top 5 teams with Villa. So I think this week it's going to go to Villa. I think that they're going to beat Newcastle, but it should be an interesting game to see if Newcastle can start. If Nottingham Forest, my bad. If Nottingham can get off to an early lead and play really well, they might have a little bit of a struggle for Villa, but I don't think that that's going to really be the case. I think that even if that does happen, Villa will be able to, come back and play to their standards. So I think Villa's going to take the win.
Yeah, I also think that Aston Villa is going to win. Nottingham really hasn't. They haven't won in a while, so I don't see them just getting a win out of nowhere against Aston Villa. But if they do, good for them. But
Yeah.
I got Aston Villa as well. Moving on, we know we're going to have a big upset this week. Luton's going to win against Liverpool.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, got it.
Not much to talk about here, really. Liverpool going to win.
I mean, yeah, you have a couple of things that need to be mentioned. Luton have been playing better and better as the weeks go by. They've been putting up more and more goals. They've been playing better, and I think they've really come into their style and are starting to play better. I don't think it's going to be enough to beat Liverpool, but it is exciting to see that Luton have been performing better and better, and I think that they have a chance in the coming weeks to keep playing better and potentially score or win. On the flip side of this, you have Liverpool. They took the 3-0 win over Nottingham Forest. They've been playing really well. In general, I like what I've been hearing from Klopp about the team, and in general what I've seen about the team and how they've been playing well. They can play better. They know they can, and they want to. And I think that's going to be really important moving forward. I don't think that they're going to have to pull out too many tricks and too many out of pocket things to beat Luton here. But I think that Liverpool know they need to play better. They know they can, and they're going to. So I think this is going to be a week for Liverpool to kind of set up, get going, get on the mark, and go in the next few weeks. But I think I'm going to take a Liverpool win this week.
Yeah, solid shout. Moving on to wrap it all up, we got Tottenham versus Chelsea. I think it's going to be important for Tottenham not to take light of this Chelsea club. Chelsea seems like a wild card. They're either on or they're not. But if Tottenham's going to be a title contender, this is one they have to really secure, make sure they get without a doubt.
Yeah, I like what you said. So, Tottenham are top of the table right now. They need to play like it. Chelsea is a wild card, like you said. They have the ability to beat anybody. They have the ability to lose to anybody. It's Chelsea right now. Chelsea's so up and down. I can't predict anything. I have a better shot at predicting the tide, but it is what it is. It's Chelsea. They can win. They're playing Tottenham. They can definitely win that.
What do we think of Tottenham?
I'm not doing that. Nah, but like we said, Tottenham is top of the table right now, and they need to continue to play like it. And I think that they can. And I think that they will against Chelsea, but they cannot let up. They cannot let Chelsea, get chances and make breaks. They cannot let up because Chelsea wants to beat Tottenham. They want to win in general, but they want to beat Tottenham. Yeah. They want to take them off the pedestal. And I think that Chelsea's going to try and play their hearts out this weekend and get that done. I think that Tottenham's going to take the win in the end, but they cannot underestimate Chelsea.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I also got Tottenham, so that means we have all the same picks except the first matchup, Fulham versus Man United. So
that's the point I need.
One of us is going 10-0, and the other is going 9-1, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, 100%.
That'd be awesome. But it should be a great week of football, guys. We hope you enjoyed this video. Let us know down below your predictions, any comments or thoughts you have. Let us know if you disagree with us or anything. But as always, we will see you guys in the next video. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. And we will see you next week. Thank you.
See you.